Hello, this is Notaspringchick, and yes, we want to give you an update on Himalayan salt. And you're going, Himalayan salt? Why would I even care about that? Well, this is one of, well, actually, how should we call this? We've seen this in supermarkets where they have different types of salt. Where you can go ahead and, grate the salt to taste. These are, people call them gourmet salts.
Yeah, actually, whole Earth is carrying a whole bunch of stuff from these people now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. This right here, actually, I think this is more like a massage ball.
Yeah.
But we are using it because salt is antibacterial. It doesn't hold the germs. And I actually leave this in the car with me. So instead of carrying, that hand sanitizer around with me that's liquid and sometimes squirts all over your stuff.
Are those anti-green hand wipes that
have
to be thrown
and they
out?
Squirt all over. Himalayan salt ball. Use it like this. It makes it great. They're also great because you can use them for parties.
Yeah.
Salt like
Yeah.
But I wanted to show you some new things out there because we also have an interview. Now, part of the interview has been done before, but these are some updates since that interview. Of course, they had these, what do you want to call these, cooking tiles and plates,
Yep.
which you can use to prepare food on.
You put like a little tea candle underneath it, warm it up. We've seen them cook. We've seen them warm stuff. We've also seen them use them for just salt pieces of beef before you give it to people.
I know, isn't that cool? The other part is, I could show you these, but I've already given them away as a present, is these lamps right here.
And they worked because they worked sort of like as a dehumidifier for your room.
Mm-hmm. So they are supposed to help you with health. And Oldecam tried it, I tried it, and yes, you can tell a difference when they're on. You'll feel.
Well, you get sort of a salty taste on your lips, which means it's actually dehumidifying it. Because the people that have to have a room with they got to have an expensive dehumidifier or a $20 salt lamp. That doesn't. It's a no-brainer.
It costs them more than that.
No.
We happen to get a good deal on it.
Yeah, no, but they come in various sizes and expenses, though.
Oh, they do, because some of them are more natural, some of them are more shaped. But the fun part is, kids can still lick them.
Yeah. Okay, kids can gross out their mommies and daddies by licking their light.
You can still have fun. But here's some of the cool new things. Of course, they've got the salt candle holders, which you can use something like that.
Yeah.
But here, let me show you.
Actually, they got a foot one for your feet too, where you sit on the
Now,
actual.
you can help detoxify. Now, I don't know exactly how this works. Help detoxify your feet. You're using them as rubs,
Yeah.
right, for salt.
Yeah, I think what you do is you warm them up and then put your foot on it, and and it basically sort of like those commercials where they're putting. I never thought about that. Those commercials where they're drawing everything out of the feet.
Yeah.
Maybe they're warm salt pads.
It could be, because these are salt foot detoxification blocks.
Yeah, and you don't throw them away because it's antibacterial, which means there's virtually nothing you can do that will contaminate them.
Although I have to tell you, even though they're antibacterial, there's something mental that I want to have a different salt block for my food than for my feet.
But they were selling them together, though.
Yeah, they're supposed to work like that. Now here's the other part. Here's their culinary line.
Which we have seen,
Which actually, this would be part of their culinary line. So they have the salts right here. But new products here, of course, is a salt lick. Look at the horse with the salt lick.
Yeah.
Right? But besides being able to get it for salt shakers and stuff, the newest one, which they sent us an update on that's not even on this list, is basically one of these, right? And a grater.
Oh yeah,
and you grate grills?
I know. I already saw that. It's just like okay, but that makes sense because the Himalayas are in the Chinese area. China used to sell its tea in blocks, which you'd grade the tea off the block.
Oh.
So I would guess that they actually created, food grading.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so now for the interview on more on Himalayan salt and what it can do for you. It's actually quite novel. Himalayan salt lamps
Well, a lot of people think it's novel, but it's not. It's actually a trend for the future because it's unprocessed salt straight from underneath the foothills of the Himalayan mountains. It's unprocessed, therefore there has been nothing changed as it comes out of the ground. It still matches the molecular structure of our body, therefore making it compatible and works with us rather than becoming an enemy to us, as we're commonly familiar with the problems of other types of salts.
Does it work differently if you have a lamp versus just a big chunk of salt, or eating the salt?
Very good question. As it is warmed, it releases those negative ions into the air. As we eat it, it also releases the negative ions because it is compatible with our body structure. It doesn't sit there and burn our tongue like common table salt does. It actually breaks apart. You'll notice it tastes like salt, but it didn't sit there and burn your tongue like salt normally does. It's a cornucopia of flavors as it's exploded into your mouth there, filling it with all these different flavors that are going on. You may notice a slight sweetness at the end there, as a lot of people do from time to time. When you season your food, you use about 1/3 what you normally would do with any other type of seasoning salt that you would use. For baking, it measures just the same because you need to stop the rising of the yeast, and that's the function of the salt when you put it into your baking products. It's a wonderful thing. Actually, several restaurants are using it for the salty dogs.
How is Himalayan salt different from sea salt or regular table salt?
Well, that's a good question too. If you remember some basic chemistry and physics, the higher the dome, the greater the pressure. The highest mountain range on the planet is the Himalayan mountains, are the Himalayan mountains. We mine this from underneath there over in Pakistan where the greatest abundance of this is. Getting back to the original question, how is it different than sea salt? Sea salt is still processed in most cases because of the pollution, because of man-made runoff to the ocean and the bacterial levels that rise too high for the ocean to be able to cleanse. And it has the best formed molecular structured crystal on the planet. That's why it's better than all the other salts on the planet.
Well, you know, all of that sounds great, but I will tell you, it does taste really, really good. So if that's a good enough reason to buy it from my standpoint anyway.
We have one right now that we've got some butter on here, and over at the David Burke restaurant in Las Vegas, he serves his butter to his patrons over there, just like this. From time to time, he'll chill it and do salads or dessert on there too. The chocolatiers like to use this to serve their chocolate because chocolate and salt seem to go together very nicely.
I never even realized salt and chocolate went together.
Well, you know, it's a fascinating thing, and one would wonder about that, but having been at several of these cooking shows, it's becoming more and more common to do that. Also, you can heat it up in the oven at 350 degrees for 15 minutes and bring it out and sear your steaks, tenderize it. You can season it all at the same time. And if it's a thin steak, you can also just finish your cooking there at the table in front of the patron or at the home in front of yourself. Or you could just sear it and then take it to the grill or the pan and finish your cooking on there, and it'll just be the right amount of salt with the nice type of flavor that's added to it. Tequila shooters and do the lime and the salt, you know, the salt of the lime and the shooter. 5 seconds later, I don't even exist. Yes, we're certified kosher, we're certified vegan, and we're certified halal. So those people in Pakistan would understand about the halal. That's similar to a kosher certification. Also, we're the only company that is 100% UL, Underwriters Laboratory, certified. Yes, because of the lamps and the other building materials that we have, so it's safe to put into any convalescent home, hospital, or anything else, any other establishment that requires that type of certification.
Is it also USDA organic?
It is beyond any organic terminology that come up with at this point. Here's the funny thing about it. You've got the natural, you've got the organic, the wild organic. Well, we're beyond wild organic. Here, let me tell you why. The wild organic allows parabens to be introduced to it as an anti-caking agent. Common salt has sugar introduced to it as an anti-caking agent. We have nothing introduced to this. This is straight from the ground. Oh, it may have been hosed off, but then after that, there's nothing that's been done to it. No drying, no processing, nothing. It's beyond wild organic. So it's even better than anything else.
Well, Michael, I love that. Beyond wild organic. Now, that's a Himalayan salt for me. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you again, Joyce.